I often get depressed in Canberra's colder, darker months, so for the winter of 2019 I decided to ride my bicycle to the tropics. For this trip, I'd loosely planned a 7,000 kilometre, 3-month journey, an inland route to Cairns, and then a coastal route back to Canberra, all of which would be subject to change and improvisation as required. Well, it's been raining all night and the sun's just come out and it's really pretty. I could have chosen a worse time of year to come and visit. Rural life, dudes. Rolling into Lake Cargelligo here. Well, here we are in Lake Cargelligo. Yeah, it's not a bad little town. I expected a lot less, actually. I've been looking for a place to wash my bike, and I think I've found just the place. I can't find any taps around here, so might just have a cheeky little dip. Oh, it's pretty slippery here. So what I want to do... Oh no, my shoes aren't waterproof anymore. What I want to do is get the pedals wet. It's not quite working as well as I'd hoped. Well, I've been sitting by the lake here and having a think about what to do next. I've just been a bit unsure. If we look at the map here, you'll see why. I've been sitting here in Lake Cargelligo for a while now. Come from Rankin Springs here at the green marker, and I'm wanting to go to Cobar. The problem is, whilst there are a couple of localities between here and Cobar, Erramarang and Uabalong and Nymagee, the problem is that all the roads that lead to them are dirt, unless I take this orange road over here, which is the Kidman Way. I don't want to take that orange road because it's going to be very busy. Trucks. So what I've decided to do, because there's no safe way for me to get to Cobar quickly enough, because I'm not going to risk dirt roads. That's just, after my last experience with them, no, I'm not doing it. So what I'm going to do instead, the closest major town to here is Condobolin. I'm going to head over to Condobolin, so head east, and from Condobolin I'm going to go up through Tullamore, Tottenham, Nevertire, which is about here, and Warren, and from Warren I'll come up through here to probably to Walgett, and up through Lightning Ridge to the Queensland border. Well, I've just been giving my bike another clean. Here's the old degreaser and the new one. Old one's almost out. Coming together well. Now I'm in the waiting stage where I let it dry, and then I'm going to head down to the service station and see if they've got any water, because I haven't been able to find anywhere else. Then I'll head out of town. I'm going to try and get to Uabalong today. I'm not going to go all the way to Condobolin, seeing I've sort of sat around here thinking about what to do next for such a long time. I think Uabalong's about 40 k's away, but I should have a tailwind because the front has come through, so the northwesterly has now turned into a southwesterly. And you know, with tailwinds, if I get there all the way to Uabalong and then I'm still like, hey, I'm doing 35 k's an hour the whole way, then I might just go further. And I've got my solar panel up the front here charging my phone. First time I've used it on this trip. We'll see how effective it is. Gee, the distances really are getting vast out here. My, what a difference a little bit of wind makes. I've got a slight crosswind at the moment, just kind of coming from the rear, but only slightly. And I'm cruising along at a comfy 28 k's an hour. I've got a freshly oiled chain. It's a smooth road with no trucks, just cars. What more could you ask for? Pretty landscape, and the clouds are clearing. As I rode along on my way to Uabalong, an old Commodore sped past me, and I noticed a pen fly past, a few metres in front of me. Not a very good shot, but the message was clear. I can throw things at you with impunity. I'd read news stories of motorists throwing beer bottles at cyclists in northern Queensland. Was this failed projectile attack a sign of things to come? I sure hoped not. 40 k's an hour on the flat. I've really got a tailwind now. I was doing 37 up a hill earlier. I'll be at Uabalong in no time. There's the Lachlan River. If I was doing these speeds all day, I'd be able to do 250 k's in a day, I reckon. It's crazy. Well, I'm here at Uabalong by the Lachlan River, and it is pretty. I never really appreciated this kind of thing when I was younger, but it's such a unique kind of ecology. It's beautiful. The Lachlan River's just over there in that group of trees. Well, this is a bit unfortunate. Looks like I'm not allowed on here, which is weird because this road did not say anything about that. Anyway, looks like it's a dirt road up there, so maybe it's worth turning back. It's only about 4 k's to Uabalong, so I might just go back to Uabalong and set up camp. That's frustrating though. I wish they gave some kind of warning. Well, this is the Lachlan Valley Way, and it's gravel. There's no escaping it out here. And you're not allowed to camp back at the river too. I found a sign that said that. I guess I'm just gonna have to find somewhere to be sneaky or something. We're set up. I'm just going to sleep without the fly, and the fly is hanging over there drying from the rain yesterday. Condobolin tomorrow, and sunset now. I've got some sultanas to take off the stalks. Unfortunately, it's cloudy today, which means that the tent hasn't dried. So I'm going to have to put it back into its plastic. But I'm just making myself some porridge here because I haven't used this cooker yet, and it's a cold morning. I'm going to use a bunch of these sultanas up. Well, I've made myself a little muesli, and now I've got friends. I think they also want some muesli. I was hoping that this intersection here would lead to an asphalt road, but nope. It's another dirt road. I've been whinging about dirt roads all this time, but this one's actually really pleasant. Just plodding along at 20 k's an hour. I'm exactly halfway between Uabalong and Condobolin, but you can also take this other road, which is 3 kilometres longer, which goes down here, and that's the heavy vehicle route, I believe. I have no idea if it's sealed, but I presume not, because this is the main road and it's not sealed. How's this for a mailbox? It's a fridge. It's been turned into a TARDIS. It's kind of jammed open. There's some mail in there too. It's pretty cool. Well, with about 35 k's to go to Condobolin, it's finally turned into a sealed road. So that's nice. I've got my solar panel down on the side here. I'm testing to see how well it goes with the difficulties of bike touring. See if it's charging fast enough. I'm getting about 6 or so watts out of it at the moment, which over the whole day might be enough to do a substantial amount of charging of the power bank. I believe the technical term for this is the middle of nowhere, something like that. 70 kilometres from Lake Cargelligo here. Stabilised road. Do not grade without instructions, from the technical services office, which I can assure you I will not be doing. I don't have a grader at my disposal, and even if I did, it's all in pretty good shape. Got my solar panel here, charging away. Attached it to the left side of my bike because we're heading east. These roos are faster than me. Similar speed actually. We've reached cotton country. You can see it all over the road, dropped off the side of trucks. Condobolin's just over there somewhere, about 5 k's away. It's 3:30 in the afternoon and I've reached Condobolin just as I was coming over the bridge over the Lachlan River, which is just over there. There was a sign saying, "Leave your horses here if you're crossing the bridge," and I think that says everything there is to say. Gonna go and do some shopping and find somewhere to camp. In the park at Condobolin, I got chatting with a lady who'd driven down from Sydney to see her daughter. She was the first person I'd had a proper conversation with in a number of days and was quite curious about what I was doing riding a bike so far west. We said goodbye after our chat and I headed into town to get some food for the next stint. I thought Condobolin's main street was quite pretty.
But the sun was setting and I needed somewhere to camp, so I headed out of town, drafting a B double through the 50 zone while gorgeous orange light fell across the landscape.
And I've found my camping spot for tonight. It's just here. The main road is just over there behind the railway line. And so I'm fairly close to town if I need to duck back and buy anything. I'm not sure if this is private land, but I'm used to stealth camping anyway, and I don't think anyone's going to really see me here. Really big trains out here. Well, I'm just making some more porridge for brekkie. I've moved my tent and so forth away from where it was because I made the mistake of removing the stalks of the sultanas right next to my tent, and then a swarm of ants came and were just outside my tent, so I've moved my tent. Unfortunately, last night I was sick with a fever. My temperature was going all over the place. I was thinking of just doing nothing today, just hanging around here, but I'm feeling a bit better now. I've been on the road for 2 weeks now, although I've only been cycling for one of those weeks, but I haven't made it that far really. I've made it to here, and in the broad scheme of things, that's not that far. I need to be up at Cairns by about week 6, and I haven't come a third of the way yet, so unless I start getting a move on, I'm not going to be able to make it all the way up to Cairns. Might have to just go to Townsville or something instead. Well, I'm just setting up my solar panel, and here comes the train.
The ride from Condobolin to Fifield began with wheat fields stretching as far as the eye could see, but these soon gave way to forests of cypress pine and the occasional rocky hill or outcrop. The road became more and more undulating, and my whole body was hurting from fever as I slowly made my way north. I was frustrated by the distance I still had to cover because I just wanted to set up camp, eat, and rest.
Even though I've had a tailwind all day, this has been a shit of a day. The fever is making my muscles extremely weak. And, yeah, just makes the whole experience not very pleasant. I'm just going to get to Fifield today. I don't know which genius called it that, Fifield. The next town along is called Tottenham, which is even worse. I wonder if it was the same person who decided that this state looked a little bit like South Wales. Convict mentality. I don't know. Well, Fifield's too small to even have a toilet in its park, which is smaller than Rankin Springs. So It's only got the hotel just over the road there. It's 27 kilometres to Tullamore, which is the next sort of village. It's bigger. It's about the same size as Rankin Springs. And I've got a tailwind the whole way, I think, except for about a kilometre, maybe 3 kilometres at the end. So I'm just going to hop on my bike and see how far I get. And if the sun sets, I'll just set up camp or something. I think it was a good idea to leave just then, leave Fifield. I'm cruising along at about 30 because of this tailwind, and the road is pretty good. Well, I've reached Tullamore and it is incredibly cold, which is strange because it's like a desert out there. But they have some really good public toilets here and all the amenities. They even have a little tap at the bottom there for filling up water bottles, and they've got a free campground at the showgrounds. But I'm going to just head about a kilometre and a bit north of town. This road is actually called the Bogan Way, which is pretty funny, but I'm going to go along the Bogan Way about a kilometre and a half, and there's a state forest there. So I'm going to camp at Tullamore State Forest. My shadow is getting really long now. Sun's just about to set. You really do get to visit some of the most out-of-the-way places when you go bike touring. This is Tullamore State Forest, and it's going to be a bright night. I swear no one's been here in a very long time, except the rabbits. Their poo is everywhere. But it's such an ancient looking park. It's beautiful.